Dools.
As
Sam Raimi has officially confirmed that he's directing Doctor Strange 2. Capone trailer dropped and the return of Josh Trank. And also, Batman has officially been delayed till October 21. But till then, Dools, just roll the intro. Welcome, Dools, one and all, to another episode of the More Cops on Duty podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Harry. With me, of course, is the Josh to my Trank, Edward. Dools, Dools, how you doing today?
yeah, doing alright, as doing okay.
Do you like how I likened our friendship to Josh Trank, the director of the almighty Fantastic Four?
So, what a very quick rise and fall that young man had. Started off with Chronicle, which I believe was his directorial debut. Could be wrong.
I believe so, yeah. It was great as well.
And, I actually only watched it recently, like maybe in the last year. And I quite liked it.
For a directorial debut, it's pretty damn good.
It was solid. And he must have done stuff in between that and Fantastic Four. But Fantastic Four, so the 2016 reboot, I believe. That's one of the worst films I've ever seen. I think it might be worse than Suicide Squad for me, and that is saying something.
Oh, it's definitely worse than Suicide Squad.
I fucking hate Suicide Squad, but yeah, there's something about Fantastic Four. It's so
how it's an origin story, but it skips the origin. Remember how it did a time jump by a year.
Truly bizarre, just a horrible, pathetic incarnation and portrayal for Doctor Doom, who's arguably meant to be one of the most menacing Marvel villains just in all of the Marvel universe. Just a pathetic depiction of him, bland, boring performances from great actors and actresses otherwise, like Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara, and the dude who plays Doom, whose name I'm forgetting. But, just what a shame, dude. What a fucking shame. One scene in particular sticks out when I remember this film. It's where they're in it's where they're in a library or something, because it's like they're because it's like a facility, right? And these guys are still young adults, and Kate Mara's character, Invisible Woman, is listening to music, and Miles Teller is just making some pathetic attempt to talk to her, and I don't know exactly how they get on to this line of thinking, but he's like, oh yeah, what kind of music do you like? And she's like, I don't really like music per se. It's more like, I like following certain rhythms and beats and tempos, and I don't really look at sound, but more like, the fucking just the sign,
the wavelength,
the wavelength, and I'm like sitting there, and I looked at you, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? It was some of the worst. Can you imagine sitting down and writing that dialogue? And then just hitting save and being like, today was a productive day. Today was dude. I feel like we need to rewatch it.
We really do.
Because I'm just on that scene alone. I'm like, fucking hell, that's
a fantastic idea.
That's a remarkably stupid bit of dialogue, and I remember just looking at you and just being like, dude, should we walk out? And you're like, I think there's 20 minutes left, and I'm like, fuck. Anyway,
it was
terrible. Josh Trank.
I remember the intro scene finished, and it was terrible. It's like a flashback to when Reed Richards was a kid. And then it came up saying Fantastic Four, and you looked at me and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to walk out right now. It was maybe 5 minutes in.
The one silver lining of the film is that it made me look back far more fondly on the originals with fucking Chris Evans and Jessica Alba, and just be like, you know what, though? They weren't so bad. They weren't so bad.
Speaking of mediums that weren't so bad, Dills, let's imagine that a average Joe stumbles upon a podcast called More Cops on Duty and has no idea what it is. Just tell them what it is, Dools.
Tell them what it is. Films, TV, music apparently, and games. It's all talked about here, all in detail. Best of the best. Expert opinion from Dools and Has. You find us on Twitter, Instagram, on the socials. We're on YouTube. Has spent all weekend, because he's got nothing else to do, all weekend uploading our catalogue of podcasts to YouTube. Congrats, Has. Thanks, Has. And
thank you.
So
it was actually such a fucking effort.
We are literally everywhere now, everywhere that you could possibly find us. And of course, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean, which apparently people use. And I'm not sure it's a real platform.
Well, Dools, you couldn't have said it better yourself. We are internet's number one gaming, film, and TV podcast. And we like to start each and every week with what we've been watching, what we've been playing. Dools, do you want to start us off?
Sure, Has. Been neglecting the film and TV as of late. I'm just kind of like in a groove of clearing out my backlog of games. So I mean, I've just been mowing through some games. So let me rattle off some. So the past couple games I played, I think I last mentioned Control on the podcast, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, you said you platinumed it.
Yeah. So I've since platinumed that. Started this like grueling Super Meat Boy-esque platformer called Celeste. Like I think this was like up with the likes of God of War and Red Dead and 2018's Game of the Year nominees. Like it's a remarkable game. It's like the music's incredible. There's like deep themes about depression and anxiety and just mental illness in general. And that's all very interesting. I don't quite relate to that stuff, but I think like I've definitely seen a lot of chatter in the past about how the games help people, which is awesome. And the creator's like definitely poured a lot of his own personal experience into the game. But at its core, it's just like a grueling platformer and a love letter to like those old school platformers. And some really cool mechanics. Like it's like you've got to solve puzzles on the fly pretty much, and expect to die a lot. Like it's instant respawn, and you're back. It's like you're at the start of the level. You're pretty much at. If you've ever played Super Meat Boy, it's that kind of rinse and repeat. Like you got to learn the rhythm and the movements that you need to complete a level, and it's very similar in that regard. And oh my god, like I highly recommend it to just anyone. Like it's so tough. It's such a tough game, but it's so rewarding and so much fun, and the music's phenomenal. So I have pretty much beaten that. There's like an extra DLC type chapter which is meant to be like for the hardest of hardcore, and I made it like halfway through. I don't know if I'll be able to go back. It's absolutely bonkers. But How's I picked up a weird one. I'll show you on the camera. I've got the box right next to me. But for some reason I was craving Metroid, and I decided to play the only Metroid game I haven't played, Metroid Other M. So this is like a weird. So some third party made this. Nintendo didn't actually make it.
Did you break out the Wii?
I broke out the Wii, dude. Yeah, for this one. Yeah. And it actually still works.
Wow.
Yeah. Just goes to show you how much fucking time we have on our hands these days. So I'm a huge Metroidvania fan, and so of course, Metroid being in its namesake, I'm just love Metroid games. But so Metroid is typically like a 2D side scroll where it's like the whole gameplay loop is like, okay, explore. Like you're pretty much dropped in there and you're not really told much, and you just gotta like find your own way and kind of learn things as you go, and it doesn't hold your hand at all. And the whole loop is like explore, find an item, encounter obstacle, overcome obstacle with said item, encounter another obstacle, realize that you can't overcome this particular obstacle for the time being, find another item, go back, overcome obstacle, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of backtracking, a lot of like going back and forth through the same area, but viewing it through a different lens because you're like equipped with different items and power-ups and so forth. And that's kind of like part of the whole Metroidvanian spirit, and lots of games have mimicked that style over the years. But anyway, this game couldn't be further from a Metroid game. It's only Metroid in name. It's like this weird fucking third-person, first-person hybrid, and it's cool. It's a bit of fun, but it's like it's definitely not Metroid-y. Like it is so linear. It funnels you through its own path through the entire game. You have no exploration. You have no autonomy in the game, and that's completely antithetical to the spirit of Metroid. So in that sense, it's a bit of a disappointing game, but it's still a bit of fun. So I mean, that is what I've been playing. Tell me what you've been watching / playing.
Love it, Dools. Thank you for asking. Appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it.
I mean, I don't really want to know, but I have to ask for the sake of the show. I mean, you remind me every time. But please.
I'm just glad that I edit the podcast and I can edit that bit out. But I appreciate it, Dawes. So I've actually been a bit of the opposite. I haven't been playing much. Actually, every single night I play Call of Duty. We've got a little squad with some people at work. We go on every night for a couple hours and like we actually dominate. Like we're very fucking good.
Is this Warzone or just normal multi or mixed and match?
So Warzone has a max of 4 people for a squad.
Yeah.
And we've got 5 or 6 sometimes. So if there's 4 or less, then we go Warzone. But if there's more than that, then we just put on a playlist of domination or capture the flag and a bit of both.
Yeah.
And just get it done. But other than that, I've been cranking through Control. I think I'm past halfway. I love it. I think it's awesome.
You've never played anything like it, right? It's very
exactly,
unique.
but I've got no idea. I've got no idea what the fuck the story's about. I'm like so lost.
Oh yeah, so the plot is, and we could potentially, when you're done, do like a spoiler cast. But at the same time, it would be like one of those. I actually went back and listened to. So there's another podcast we both like, Sacred Symbols, largely about PlayStation. But I went back and listened to, because they did it at the time it came out, the spoiler cast on Control, and they prefaced the whole thing like, look, we're gonna try and spoil the game, but chances are we're not even going to come close because we still have no idea what the fuck it's about. Like,
yeah, okay, I'm so glad that other people like that. In terms of gameplay mechanics and everything, it's exceptional. I highly recommend it. Playing like what I'm doing is I've got a gaming headset that does surround sound, and it's fucking awesome that way. And you can, in the whole like, sound is taken so for granted in this game, 100%. But if you put on a gaming headset, you can see just how powerful it is. Just checking, Dools, have you dropped out?
No, I'm here.
You still there?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're still there. Your camera's frozen, but it's alright. I might just come back in. Other than that, I've been watching a few films here and there. I watched both National Treasure films on Disney Plus. They both live the fuck up.
Would you say those films are national treasures?
Say again, sorry? You're just crackling over the...
Apologies. I said, would you say those films are national treasures?
Yeah, sorry, you're crackling. I'm just going to continue talking and hopefully it fixes the connection. Maybe while I talk, exit and come back indoors. But National Treasure 1 and 2, they're both phenomenal. Nicolas Cage absolutely kills it in both. And they're just so much fun. They're like Uncharted, the film, and there's nothing short of absolute fun. And that's what I think is the best version of Nicolas Cage as well. Like, I love him when he's super crazy, like he is in Mandy or Face Off. But like that great edge of what he does when he did the National Treasure films was absolutely perfect. I also watched Prisoners on the couple of days ago. The Denis Villeneuve, exceptional film. I think it's my favourite of his entire catalogue. The way that Hugh Jackman just approaches the entire role of being this psychotic father that is doing everything in his power to get his daughter back. It really just shows like what is the most you'll do if one of your kids gets kidnapped. And he definitely goes into some really, really exceptionally dark places. But in saying that, I think he was absolutely robbed of even a nomination. I think he was absolutely perfect in that film. But another clear standout is absolutely Jake Gyllenhaal. Everyone talks about Paul Dano. He was awesome. Everyone in this film is amazing. Paul Dano is fantastic in it, of course. But Jake Gyllenhaal being that unhinged detective that is doing absolutely everything in his power and being an absolute boss and going through all the highs and lows of a case like this in a town like this. and seeing all this pressure that he has from both the family, from his captain, and seeing everything that he goes through in this one case is truly exceptional. I think that he absolutely nailed it. So, Dools, you're back. Had some bit of a technical difficulties, but I've just gone through my reviews of basically what I've been watching, which is both National Treasures that are on Disney Plus, and I also watched Prisoners again. Went back there because I've one of my roommate now. He's slowly getting into film, but he's got all these amazing pieces that he's just never even heard of, and Prisoners was one of them. I asked him what genre he'd like, and he said he wanted to see a murder mystery. Thought of Prisoners. That's why I watched Fracture the other night as well. Thought of Prisoners, and he loved it. What a phenomenal film Prisoners is.
What did anyone actually end up dying in Prisoners?
One guy killed himself. What do you mean?
I mean, like it is a murder or like it's a mystery about a potential murder.
It's a disappearance.
It's
a disappearance. Yeah.
But oh my, yeah, dude, fucking. Oh, so Danae, is just a phenomenal director. Arguably, maybe my favorite up and coming director. I know he's been around for a while now, but like in terms of like, I mean, he's maybe not on Tarantino or Scorsese level for me, but I mean, just I'm more excited. I'm more like excited for his new films than maybe any other new film. So, ever since Blade Runner 2049. Well, I mean, since Prisoners and then Arrival and Sicario, I'm not as hot on just because I wasn't impressed with the story and script in that one. But I should give it a rewatch. I might change my tune. I haven't seen it.
You should absolutely give it a rewatch. I watched it again a couple of weeks ago, and it's fucking good.
I should. I mean, but the one thing I did notice about the film was the direction, cinematography, which he's just always so on point with, was just remarkable. But Blade Runner 2049, which I rewatched again recently, oh my god, like a fucking hell. That's a film, dude. It's so good. So Dune, very keen for, and and his filmography just also diverse. I mean, he'll have 3 sci-fi films in a row now, technically, with Arrival, Blade Runner, and Dune. But I think they're all still quite distinct in their storytelling. Yeah. So Prisoners, man. So he liked it a lot.
Yeah, he loved it. He thought it was great.
Nice.
Loved it, which was awesome. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. That's what I've been playing. But until next week, Dools, do you want to get into the news of the week? Give me a jingle.
Oh, it's the news of the week. Ba-da-da.
Nice, thanks, Dools. Dools, first off the bat, as spoken about in the pre-show, Sam Raimi has officially confirmed that he's going to direct Doctor Strange 2.
Did you know a little bit of trivia for ya, mate? Did you know that Doctor Strange, the character, was briefly mentioned as a fun little thing in the Spider-Man 2 script?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you rewatch it, I think like when they're kind of, or maybe it's the first one. Oh, I don't know. I think it is Spider-Man 2 because I think they're trying to think of a name. It's in J. Jonah's office, and he's with his staff. And they're trying to think of a nickname for Dr. Octavius. And they're like, oh, well, how about, Dr. Octopus? And he's like, And then one of them goes, Dr. Strange. And he's like, good, but taken. And so, like, that's like, I think that's like the only kind of little awesome reference. Because I think Sam Raimi actually poked fun at that when he officially confirmed it. But, so what do you think of this news, Has? Do you think he's a good choice?
I think he's a great choice. I think that there's definitely going to be a slight horror aspect. Of course, it's not going to be a full horror film. That's why Scott Derrickson walked away from the project. But in terms of, like, being able to, give that horror edge and that slight edge of creepiness or eeriness or building an atmosphere, Sam Raimi's done films that far exceed that. From Evil Dead to Drag Me to Hell, he knows how to do that shit. He's got such range, and he's worked with studios before to make superhero films. I think he can do it. I think he can do it real well.
Yeah, so I guess, I don't know how most people feel about them to this day, but I'm still a huge fan of those original Spider-Man films that he directed. Spider-Man 3 is obviously much, the weaker out of the trilogy, but I still think 1 and 2 especially are just great films. Like, yeah, they're a bit corny and dated, but I mean, dude, they're still so much fun. Like, just like, especially moments like where he's swinging through New York for the first time, and the swell of the music, like, has a great theme. The Danny Elfman Spider-Man theme in those films is just one of the great superhero themes. And the train fight with Doc Ock stopping the train, and then him how he's been unmasked, and the New Yorkers are like standing up for him, and how he's
just a kid.
He's passed through. Yeah. I mean, just dude, I love those films. I don't think that corniness would translate to, or that corniness and campiness, I should say, would translate to a Marvel film today quite well. But I'm not too familiar with his other work. Like, I know he was responsible for, again, another campy franchise, but Evil Dead with Ash, whatever his name is.
Bruce Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I know, like, they're called like Ash vs. the Evil Dead or something.
Yeah.
But
Ash is the.
Have you seen any of those?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of them.
Oh, cool. Okay, so yeah, but they're pretty campy, though, aren't they?
Very campy, but they're fun. They're fun horror movies.
You also saw his most recent film, Crawl. How scary is that?
I don't think he. I think he only produced that.
Oh, okay.
Let me look that up.
But I guess I'm just trying to gauge what this film could be, because I mean, like, obviously, so they're gonna dip their toe into horror a little bit, but still keep it like a fun, somewhat family-oriented Marvel film. So I guess Raimi is a pretty good choice for that. I just hope they don't get too campy with it, because we were obviously getting pretty excited by the prospect of a more serious, darker Marvel film that dabbled with true horror. So, and of course, horror is subjective, but at the same time, like, we all know, horror is scary. Like, it doesn't have to be through gore or jump scares, but can be through atmosphere, which we always talk about, and I don't know, just like, just settings and other creepy things. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm hopeful that we're still going to get a good film. Like, Kevin Feige is yet to really make a big fuck up. So, I'm always just going to place my trust in him.
Absolutely. Dools, speaking of someone that fucked up and is attempting to come back, Josh Trank is making a return with the new Capone film starring one Tom Hardy. Trailer dropped. You didn't see it?
Didn't see it. Saw a lot about it. Like, I saw, like, frames and whatnot, and I saw some, opinions being thrown around. But you've watched this. Do you want to give us a rundown?
I've seen it. Yeah, it's going straight to VOD. It just has to, I guess, nowadays. That doesn't mean that's going to be a bad film, so don't take it as that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would have had a theatrical run where it was, where it
absolutely would have. It's Tom Hardy. It absolutely would have. Yeah. He would have promoted the shit out of it. I'm not sold on it. It might have just been a bad trailer or badly cut. Tom Hardy he doesn't look any the way that I remember Capone being. Like how he was pictured in Untouchables or anything like that. He looks like a completely different character. Completely different person. But in saying that, I trust Tom Hardy. I feel like...
Well, do you know when it's set, though? It might have something to do when it's set. Because it's like after his incarceration, he's been released from prison, and apparently he's much older, and he's like... It's following him as his mind deteriorates, because he died from, like, I don't know if it was dementia or something, but... His mind wasn't all there towards the end, and I think like, obviously he's going to look much older. It's definitely not prime Capone.
No,
it's like it's after his long stint in prison. So I think it's meant to be a very different look at the.
Okay, well, I'm going in there. Like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm like mainly just because I want to see what Josh Trank can do. Ever since Fantastic Four, and also I'm a massive Tom Hardy fan, so I'll definitely watch it. But I'm going in with pretty low expectations. The trailer didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I might give the trailer a watch, see what I think. But other than that, yeah, no, I think I agree. I think I haven't seen anyone especially excited about it. So, and it's a very bizarre, like, I mean, it's interesting, but it's also somewhat bizarre, time of his life to focus on for an entire film. I feel like that could be a cool way to close out. That could be the third act of a biopic just about him. But and I believe it was Philip Seymour Hoffman who played him years ago in a biopic, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know, I could be thinking of someone else. But so yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for the time being. But something funny I saw recently though was that I think you're thinking
of Capote.
Oh fuck yeah, yeah okay yeah.
You're thinking of Capote.
Yep.
You're not thinking of Capote. Yeah, come on. Sorry, continue.
So yeah, no, I saw a funny thing with Josh Trank recently though. He like started this blog or whatever, and he like reviewed his Fantastic Four, and I think he said a lot since that film, but like largely that like oh well there was a lot of studio meddling and he wasn't able to show his final cut and whatever, and okay fine, but at the same time I just don't believe there was so much studio meddling that could have ruined that film even more than what it already was. I'm like he obviously still made a bad movie, and I think you should own that. I remember thinking that at the time, like he was scapegoating. I'm like, dude, it's not a good look. Like, fucking just let it go. But he reviewed the film and was like, yeah, I don't think it's as bad as I remember it being, or like and thought it was. But I think he gave it like a 4 out of 10. So but at least
that's tough.
So I don't know. I want to give this guy a benefit of the doubt because I'm sure And I think he also attached to He was also attached to a Star Wars film at one point. Possibly.
Now you're thinking of Colin Trevorrow.
No, I think Josh Trank was I think he.
Oh, was he? Oh, you might be right. Actually, he might have been.
It was like an
the
unannounced.
Boba Fett.
I think it might have been the now cancelled Boba Fett solo film.
Yeah, Boba Fett. Yeah, yeah, that does ring a bell. Yeah.
So obviously they saw some potential in him, and that obviously would have been post Fantastic Four. So yeah, I know maybe I'm sure he has it in him to for a comeback. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Dools, interesting news just in. Netflix is now worth more than Disney. Especially this is because of how much the stock rises with Netflix during this pandemic and how much the stock has decreased for Disney during this pandemic. As we were talking about before, this is obviously due to their main theme parks being closed and all their entertainment packages other than Disney Plus being pushed.
Do you not think that with Disney releasing the widely anticipated Artemis Fowl into Disney Plus will not bolster their share price?
I think it might even go down more.
Ooh, burn.
It doesn't look good, Dools. Doesn't look good.
Yeah, I think I might have read 1 or 2 of those back in the day, but I mean, was anyone clamoring for this film? Was anyone really asking for it?
You're talking about what people aren't asking for, Dools. Hugh Jackman apparently got offered a role in Cats, but wisely turned it down.
Mm-hmm.
To use your phrase back at you, Dools, could you fucking imagine Hugh Jackman in Cats?
I mean, the thing is, I could because he's just so musically inclined, that man. But I mean, thank God he didn't. I mean, the last time, he's done with the claws, right? He's done wearing claws as an actor. He's done his time. He's done his time. Don't make him get back in the cage, all right? Leave him alone. Nice. Can we just leave Hugh Jackman alone?
Fine. Do you want to move on?
Yeah, sure. What else is there?
Dools have got 3 more points, and then I've got a good old trivia game for you, Dools. We'll hit that. A little bit of a trivia segment that we're going to introduce into the show in a bit. Dools, Halloween Kills is apparently even more intense than the original, says the sequel writer.
Do you believe him, Has? I mean, would it not benefit him to just hype up the sequel to his own film? No, I'm kidding. I believe him.
The first one was so good.
First one was very good. It felt like an ending though, and they definitely wouldn't.
Yeah,
have
it was
thought,
a perfect
They definitely wouldn't have thought that they'd be able to do another one. But I think it was just so successful that they actually ended up greenlighting. If that's even
2.
Green lighting, I should say 2. Yeah. Halloween
Kills and Halloween Ends.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is it Halloween Kills again? No,
that'd have been awesome. But yeah, no, absolutely to your point, because we saw the film and we went to a Q&A with Jamie Lee Curtis, and someone asked, will you be Laurie Strode again? She goes, I love Laurie Strode, I love John Carpenter, I love this series gave me my career, but there is no fucking chance I'm doing another Halloween movie. And 6 months later, she's back on set.
Money talks. Money talks.
Yeah, so like the movie grossed a fucking lot of money, so
yeah,
No,
well, that that just showed a lot of appetite for those kind of films. And that's another horror film where it's got the occasional jump scare and a little bit of gore. Well, not that much, but I think, again, it's just like, it's either got a good horror film either has the creepiness factor or the atmosphere. And I think that was more about the creepiness. Like, this Michael Myers, he just exudes creepiness. I mean, just that blank, vacant stare through that mask. I mean, nothing is more bone-chilling than just seeing him in the corner of your eye, out a dirty window or something, if you're Laurie. And, I think I still need to watch the others, or the original at least. I actually never did. I meant to after seeing that, so that's still the only one I've seen, that soft reboot. But
the original's so good, and then I seriously recommend watching the 2018 film again, because it's a sequel to the first one.
Yeah, I should. I definitely should.
And it's got so many references in there. Because I remember we watched it with a full packed house crowd, and everyone was cheering, and you just didn't understand the references.
Yeah, no, I still really enjoyed the film, but I mean, yeah, I definitely...
It was so enjoyable.
Some of the stuff went over my head for sure.
Oh, there was one line I'll always remember with this crowd, where, because the whole first film, Michael is chasing Laurie. He's just tracking her down and won't stop, and she's absolutely a damsel in distress in that film, until she fights back. And then she becomes an absolute, she becomes that. She sets herself apart from that stereotype of a female in 80s slash horror movie, but she becomes a warrior in a way, and she fights back.
Ripley, another one.
Not like Ripley out of Alien, but still in a way that she's just a damsel in distress. But in the 2018 film, there's this scene where they finally believe her that Michael has come back to try and kill her, and they're in their town. I can't remember what the town is off the top of my head. After he's obviously come and killed a babysitter, and they're like, Laurie, where are you going? And she turns around and she goes, I'm gonna go hunt him. And then she gets in her car with her shotgun. We're like, fucking yes. And when she said that, the entire crowd went alight.
So is it ever really explained or hinted at as to why he's targeting her and only her?
Yeah, it's it's in the first one. He's just obsessed with her.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Dools, next news story. The Batman, has officially been delayed till October 2021.
Terrible news has. That's a this film was already a ways off, obviously, because it only just started.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in June, so it's gone from June to October. It's not too bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just so far away already that, I mean, it feels a bit numb hearing this news, because it's like, well, this film was already over a year away, so I mean, what's a couple more months? But yeah, still stings has. 2021 is going to be packed, dude. It's going to be packed.
Absolutely.
So,
do you reckon Tenet is making this year?
Yeah, I should think so. I mean, were we ever given a release date? I think maybe July, August. Tenet, was it ever given?
Around then, I think it was around then.
Yeah.
I know June is December.
Yeah, okay, so 16 July was when you would imagine they'll have to move it. But that is, that's totally fine. I don't think they'll move it out from this year. I think that's the kind of movie a Christopher Nolan film demands an audience, and it I don't think they need to worry about any competition. I mean, maybe you wouldn't want to open on the same day as June, but you could open 2 weeks before or after, and you'd still be fine. So yeah, I'm very. So I actually rewatched, just on Tenet real quick, and Christopher Nolan, I actually rewatched Interstellar the other night. I completely forgot to mention it at the top. But, so dude...
Fucking hell, Dools.
Dude, that might be my favourite Nolan film, but immediately after Dark Knight. So it's like...
Wow.
So it's Dark Knight's on top, but I mean, Interstellar, bro, if it weren't for the fact that the Dark Knight is Batman, then probably Interstellar would beat it. But, that film, dude, it's just the, raw human emotion. exuded from that film, like the relationship between, Matt McConaughey's character Cooper and his daughter Murph. Like, it's fucking powerful, and that film in general is just a masterpiece. But I watched like a quick little like expose thing where they break down like how they were just trying their hardest to like stick to grounded theoretical physics in the film, and how it was so important to him to make a believable spacefaring film, and that's why they worked with famous physicist Kip Thorne and all that to keep the science grounded. And everything that happens in that film, still to this day, they attest that is all theoretically possible, which is unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable to think about that. But so that's why Tenet, because that really will be the first one, which I guess with the exception of The Prestige, where it has a little bit of supernatural elements sprinkled in, will be the first truly like mind-bending film that doesn't really look logical at all. I mean, it looks like there's literal time travel involved, or like breaking of time and space or whatever. What
Inception?
Well, Inception, I think they can somewhat get away with because it's just like, well, it's all in a dream. So while it's still lucid dreaming is a thing where you can wake up and realize you're in a dream. While it's like obviously exaggerated beyond belief, and they're all plugged into a dream machine, it's still, you can argue
the dream machine.
You can still argue there's some groundedness to it, which by saying it's all in a dream. So I mean, he can get away with that. But Tenet, from what I mean, I doubt he's going to make it all take place in a dream again, because that's Christopher Nolan's not the one to be unoriginal. He's always looking to reinvent himself and reinvent his stories. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. With Tenet, like, what's your take? I mean, it looks to be his first like proper foray into just truly like unnatural kind of themes.
I'll always see. I'm same with you. I see directors almost probably even bigger than movie stars now, and Nolan's up there with the best. And I'll always see a film that he does. Whatever he says about it, I'm like, oh, it sounds amazing. Like, it's Nolan, And that trailer really sold me. Really sold me.
It was a very fucking cool trailer.
When you see that car flip, like, but in back in time, reverse time, unbelievable. And it just looks. There's that one line that I was just like, I'm starting to understand what this movie is. Is when they go into a room, there's bullet holes in the glass, and a character asks, I think it's Robert Pattinson asks David Washington, says is it John David Washington? That's his name, isn't it?
I think it's John David. Yeah,
John David Washington. Sorry. He goes, who shot? They're like, who did this? And he just goes, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then
so there's obviously been a lot of speculation just based on that kind of cryptic trailer and its cryptic themes. That is this will this tie into Inception at all? Just because of it's clearly unnatural and unexplainable events that happen in the trailer. So I mean, we will see. That would be cool if they explore a film in that same universe. But at the same time, I hope not, because I think what's so cool about Nolan's films is that they're just all, you can expect a brand new original story each time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
like how different was Dunkirk than any other film that he did?
Yeah, I mean, well, that was his first take on a true story and a period piece. So, I mean, yeah.
It was great as well. Phenomenal film. Quentin Tarantino labelled Dunkirk as a masterpiece.
And I would agree with him, wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly, Dools.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly.
Tarantino also loves a good rom-com. Do you know that?
I do know that.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. He also loves some feet. Last point of the news, Dools. No Time to Die was almost taken place. Like, I think 2/3 of the entire film was almost taken place inside James Bond's mind.
So, remember when news broke that Daniel Craig wanted Danny Boyle to come on and direct, and then, however long into production wanted him out because he wanted to kill off Bond? And then you go get a guy who wants to make the film, set inside his mind, make it a dream. Can you imagine? You're neck deep into this film. It's two thirds of the film have gone by. You enter the final act. The rug's pulled out from underneath you. It was all in his mind. It was all a dream, a hallucination, whatever the fuck. Dude, that would be the biggest slap in the face, the biggest middle finger. Like, I mean, that would be unforgivable. I would actually be furious. No matter how cool it could be, I would be like, no, like you can't just erase all of that. That's not fair. You can't do that. So my
an take
interesting
on the
admission for this. So has the director himself come out and said this, or is someone else?
Yeah, he said it. It was the director, Kerry.
Hell.
My take on what he said is that it was almost 2/3 was like the Bond in the past, and it's like him doing flashbacks.
Yeah, but even
so wasn't that like what's happening around him is?
Even then,
I agree with you. I'm so glad. I think it's smart that they're not doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm saying that like I read that as like everything around. It's not that everything around him is fake. It's like I read it as they're just going to do heaps of flashbacks, which I wouldn't be okay with. And I agree with you that I'd feel robbed a bit.
But wouldn't they just say, well, then it would all, half or 2/3 of the film would be set in the past or set in flashbacks? They specifically said in his mind. So that implies, maybe he's like dreaming or hallucinating.
Yeah, maybe he's in a coma or something. I don't know. And he's just going like back in past. I don't know. I'm glad they're not doing this because I think that would have been stupid.
Do you have the story in front of you? Does he also say like, oh, I'm glad we didn't do it, or like I regret ever
don't
considering
have the story in front of me. One sec, I'll get it up, Dools.
What a interesting admission to make. I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, the fact that he's like saying this now and just kind of like admitting it in the way he is tells me that he's like, in retrospect, it's like, yeah, that was actually a really stupid idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at least I think it might be Kerry Fukunawa's. Possibly butchered that first feature, actually. Because we know he did... Well, I'm not 100%. Maybe he's done some short films or some foreign films, but from what I understand, he's really only done True Detective, Maniac, and maybe some other TV projects. But, so yeah, I mean, if this is...
Oh, Dools, you're not going to like this quote.
Oh, here we go.
This is a quote from Kerry. Everything's a quote. Everything I'm about to say, he said. I had an idea that this movie could all be taking place inside the villain's lair from the last film. There's this scene where a needle goes into James Bond's head, which is supposed to make him forget everything, and then he miraculously escapes by a watch bomb. And then he and Lee blow up the place and go on to save the day. I was like, quote, what if everything up until the end of Act 2 is all inside his head and wakes up in that moment?
See, I was actually thinking, like, the only way it would work is if, like, the beginning of the film, he's, like, captured by someone and they, put him under or, spike him with something, and that's why he starts to have these hallucinations. And that could actually be cool for maybe a third, tops, for the film. And he's, like, maybe having this inner struggle and battles his demons and maybe has to grapple with the fact that he's a, he's a cool... spy or whatever, but also he's done some fucked up shit, and he's got all these demons he has to confront. I think there's potential there, but at the same time, it's James Bond. Like, you want to make him, he's meant to be this cool, suave dude who like really doesn't care about anything, and like he's just all about getting the job done. And then to have him become this emotional wreck and kind of like have to be like, oh, why did I kill this person, and blah blah blah, like which you would imagine would probably be a part of that, this like emotional journey and healing he has to go on, if it's like exploring his mind. Like, that's not what the character is, man. That's just like, that's a complete misreading of the character. And to be honest, the fact that he even had that thought scares me a little bit. It scares me about what this film could be, and how they might treat the character in the film to come. So yeah, I'm a little worried, if I'm being honest. Worried.
Well, Dools, that's the end of the news of the week, but we are going to introduce a new segment this week and for weeks to come. A segment that I'm going to title this. You can change the title if you like, Dools.
Probably will.
Ask Me Anything.
I mean, it couldn't be more unoriginal, but look, it's a work in progress. That's all right.
That's right, Dools. Do you have anything else better on your mind? No.
Off the bat has, maybe not, but you give me a day or two.
Rome wasn't built overnight. So each and every week, we're going to take turns. We're going to come up with trivia for the other co-host, the other mall cop, with a theme around it, and we just, we ask it and see. We just battle each other out.
That's good. It's going to be themed, not random.
Just do themed. So we're just going to battle each other out for wits, each and every week. So I've done 10 questions this week, all around quarantine-based films. So this is films based in isolation, lockdown, or films based around being alone, basically.
Yep.
Now I've got 10 questions, Dools. Do you want to wager how many you're going to get right?
I reckon I'll get maybe 7 or 8 right.
7 or 8. So you don't have your full confidence behind yourself, Dools.
Well, no, I mean, like I just know how obscure you can get with trivia. So I mean, I'm just being.
And I have gotten pretty obscure with some of them, but there's some that you will.
I'm just being realistic.
That's fair enough. There's some that you will definitely get because there is even some where you've said the answer earlier in this podcast.
All right. Well, there you go.
Question number 1, Dools. How did Jeff slow down his attacker at the end of Rear Window?
How did
Jeff
I don't think
slow
I've
down
even fucking
his
seen this movie.
Well, it sounds like you need a guess, Dools.
Well,
sounds like you need a guess.
How did he slow down his attacker?
How did he slow down his attacker?
All right, I'm not going to Google these, even though it's extremely easy.
No. Complete honesty.
No. I'm saying I won't. There's no fun in that. So I
want to see your hands, Dools.
So I've not even seen this film. So, I haven't. I've seen a fair few of Hitchcock's films. I just haven't seen this one.
This is my favorite Hitchcock film.
Really? Even more than Psycho?
Yep. This is a phenomenal film. I highly recommend it.
You used to say Psycho was like one of your favorites, and you got like posters of shit and everything.
I got the first edition poster in my living room. Yeah, but it's my favorite Hitchcock poster, but it's not my favorite Hitchcock film.
Oh, okay. I mean, could I get maybe a little hint, considering that I haven't even seen the film? I feel like it might not even help me anyway.
So
who is? Tell me who Jeff is as a person. Tell me about his attacker.
He's the main character of the film.
Yeah.
He's a photojournalist, and he breaks his leg, so he's confined to his apartment for the entire film.
Okay.
He then starts spying on his neighbours, and he finds out that the neighbour across his in the apartment across his way kills a woman and hides the body.
Getting Disturbia vibes already.
It's Disturbia is a modern adaptation of Rear Window. Then at the end, the killer finds out that Jeff knows who he is and comes to his apartment. And as he's basically running towards Jeff slows him down somehow.
I mean, I don't know, with his crutches.
No. So Jeff is a photojournalist, so he has flashlights for his camera.
Yeah.
So
I was actually going to say he took a photo of him, but I thought that would be retarded. I mean, I thought that would be
because it's Jesus, Dawson. He's got the big flashes like that, like exuberate the entire bulb. So he like flashes him once and he like blinds him. He does it like twice, and then he that gives him enough time to basically crawl to the window and like they both have a fight. And you'll watch it. It's a fantastic film.
I should.
0 from 1. 0 from 1. Number 2, Dools. Why can't Kale leave his house in Disturbia?
House arrest.
Yes, correct. 1 from 2, Dools. 1 from 2. Give yourself a clap.
Thanks, Az. Appreciate it.
Number 3, Dools. No problem, mate. Who plays Howard, the apocalypse-ready survivalist, in 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Sorry, the name once more?
Who plays Howard, the apocalypse-ready survivalist, in 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Oh my god, you're fucking kidding me. I'm blanking on his name. John Goodman.
Yes, Dools. 2 from 3. You're coming in. You're coming in hot. Dools, number 4. Who directed the isolated AI-based vision Ex Machina?
Oh, the character name?
Who directed the isolated AI-based vision
Oh, sorry.
Ex Machina?
I thought I heard you say, like, create, and I heard
No.
AI, so I thought you wanted me to...
It's all good. That's
name
why I can
Oscar
repeat, Dawes.
Isaac's character. Alex Garland has...
Dawes,
Look at
killing
him.
it, killing it. 3 from 4 right now, Dawes. 3 from 4.
Ooh.
Number 5. What company did Tom Hanks work for in Castaway?
Oh, shit. Pan Am?
Is that your final answer, Dawes?
Fuck. Yes. No.
That's incorrect.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you want to have another go?
Oh, yeah, it isn't it? No, wait. No, it's a fucking, UPS?
So close.
Oh, it's
FedEx.
FedEx, yeah, it's a postal service, yeah.
Fucking close. Yeah, it is a postal service because he's got that one last parcel that he's motivated to get off the island. It's like, I need to deliver this parcel.
Yeah, because I remember the plane and I was like, wait, is he a pilot? And it's like, no, he's, but yep. Damn. That's a good one.
It's all right, Tools.
It's a good one.
You're almost there. Now think about this question before you answer right off the bat. Who played Captain Lewis in Ridley Scott's The Martian?
Captain Lewis.
Who played Captain Lewis in Ridley Scott's The Martian? Who played
Jessica Chastain?
Captain Lewis? Is that your final answer, Dawes?
I'm obviously wrong.
I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm now going to ask that for every
I'm
question.
Because I'm just Captain. Because who else? Oh, just from what I remember, the other person of authority was Justin's character.
Lock it in, Dawes, if you feel confident.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a while. Have you watched it again recently? I feel like it'd be a good rewatch. That one.
Yeah, I watched it a couple of years ago. It's really good.
Well, I mean, it came out.
Except for the Iron Man bit.
Oh
Except for
yeah,
the
that
Iron
was
Man
terrible.
bit.
That was, you know, what's weird about that is that the author wrote the screenplay and, you know, says specifically in the book why that wouldn't work, and then
There's a line in the book where it's just like, I can puncture it like this, and,
yeah,
and the girl goes,
the character
"Don't be a
tells-
fucking idiot."
Yeah, the character tells himself why that would be a remarkably stupid idea, and yet, anyway, so that's that I thought was quite strange.
So what's your answer, Dawes?
Look, I'm gonna lock it in.
Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Oh,
It was Jessica Chastain.
Here we go.
What is the full name of Tom Hardy's character in Locke?
Ivan Locke.
Is that your final answer, Dawes?
Yes.
That is correct, Dawes. You're killing it right now, dude.
Fucking look at me.
Who played Daisy Domahue's brother, Jody, in The Hateful Eight?
Oh shit. Channing Tatum.
Boom, killing it, Dawes. You're killing it. 2 from the end, Dawes, and so far you've got 1, 2, 3.
That's a good.
4,
I wouldn't have immediately
5,
thought of that as like a
6.
quarantine film, but they're all stuck in the one spot together. That's a good one.
Absolutely.
I
Thank you,
that,
Dawes. Appreciate it.
Has. Rare
What
from
is
you.
the name? What is the name of the bartender in The Shining?
Oh shit. Okay.
We did see it in the movies together. We went to the cinema,
I know.
and it's
I'm just
same
thinking-
character name in Doctor Sleep. What is the name of the bartender in The Shining?
Yeah, so Nicholson, he says it quite often. So
I'm gonna have to give you a count here, Dawes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna go with. Not feeling too confident, but I'm gonna go with Nigel.
I like the way you think, Dawes. It's not right, but the method of thinking of that, it's like a proper, regal sort of name. Give me another one, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Lloyd, Dawes. It's all right. You're on there. You're on there.
Yeah.
Last question, Dools. It's all or nothing.
Okay.
Right now, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 9.
All right. So
To get to 7 to 8 of what you predicted, you need to get this right, Dools.
all right. Let's do
You
it.
need to get this right. In Home Alone, what occupation did Joe Pesci's Harry pretend to have at the beginning of the film?
Sweet. Jesus. It's a deep cut. Haven't watched this movie in a while. Shit.
Should have watched it at Christmas, Dools. Christmas was 4 months ago.
I mean, it's got to be like 1 or 2 in my mind.
In Home Alone, what occupation did Joe Pesci's Harry pretend to have at the beginning of the film?
I'm going to have to kind of wing this one, Has, because I'm not too sure. I'm going to say plumber.
I'm afraid, Dools, you end the game on 6 out of 10. He was a cop. He pretended to be a cop.
Yeah,
He was
investigating. I was thinking like a trade that
he was asking all the. He was warning the family that there was break-ins around the neighborhood and to make sure the security system's locked tight. In fact, he was actually casing the joint. There you go, Dools. 6 out of 10. Not a bad effort. Not a bad effort. There were some curly ones that you absolutely nailed.
I'm used to a credit. That's a credit. That's all right. I'm used to that.
That is a credit. But good work, Dools. Good work. So next week.
So next week will be my turn for you, and I'll come with with an appropriate theme and all that. And 10 questions we'll keep it to. I think is a good amount.
Do you have a theme on the top of your head?
Yeah, I might, but I'm not going to share it with you right now.
Okay.
Keep you in surprise.
Too easy, Dools. Well, would you like to sign us off?
I'd love for you to.
Thank you very much for listening. That was good. Thank you very much for listening to the More Cops on Duty. You can find us everywhere on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Twitter, Instagram, and now officially YouTube, Dools. We got there. Got there.
We're fucking on there, boys and girls.
We post twice a week. Wednesdays, you'll get your fun-filled main show like you're listening to right now. Sorry for the technical difficulties today, but it's just the NBN, guys. Like, it is what it is, And then Friday, you got your fun-filled review show. And this week, Dools, what are we reviewing?
We're going to review the recently released on VOD for our viewing pleasure, Ben Affleck's The Way Back.
I'm very excited to watch this. I love a good inspirational sports movie. Love Remember the Titans or Miracle or Mighty Ducks or Mighty Ducks 2 or even Mighty Ducks 3.
It's meant to be very much in that same vein as those films. So yeah, I'm also equally excited, Has.
Yep, but until Friday, I'm Harry. Dools is Dools. You are you.
Dools is
We're the
Dools.
More Cops on Duty, and we're on duty.